While most people learn about the Indian indentured laborers that came to Trinidad through history books, genealogist Shamshu Deen is privileged to have received first-hand accounts from some of the survivors. Having ancestors that also came from India is what sparked his interest into the journey and lives of these indentured laborers. Mr. Deen describes the survivors of indentureship as mirrors to his ancestors.
Because the last one died when I was only 3, I felt that I was deprived of something, a personal touch of the ancestor, to talk to them, to find out how the journey was, why did they bother to come here in the first place. So to get over that, I worked with the survivors of indentureship, and I was so lucky.
While he felt fortunate to have interacted with the survivors, he says there were some heartbreaking stories.
But there was one particular story I remember where the lady was captured in England, in India. These things used to happen all the time. And when she was captured and brought to Trinidad, her husband didn't know anything about it. How they captured her, they told her that some recruiters came, but she didn't know who they were. And they said that your parents are very ill in another village about 10 miles away. And your father is on deathbed now.
Concerned about her parents' well-being, she eventually complied.
But the next thing you know, she was on a ship bound for Trinidad, right? Because they had fooled her. And they brought her here.
Assigned to the Mount Pleasant estate in Claxton Bay, the lady now had a whole new life, one that she would have never imagined.
When she arrived here, people told her, well, you can't go back to India for about 10 years, which was true. You had to work 5 years, and then another 5 years of residence will give you your passage to go back to India. So, so they told her, well, this man, he has 2 children, and he had 2 children. His wife died, and one of the children died as well. And there's nobody to look after the children. He's alone with one child. You are here, you can't go back to India. So you might as well get married to him.
The treatment she endured while indentured was burdensome.
And she said it was very difficult on the estate and so on, to working and having to, and then this experience of having to remarry and things like that. So all of that was extremely difficult for her. The experience in the fields and so on were difficult. The children, many of the children had to stay at home without any supervision. So all of that, and working, they had to work about 5 or 6 days a week. The conditions in the barracks were terrible. I didn't get this from her alone, from all the other survivors.
However, not all the stories Mr. Deen received were horrendous. One survivor named Gajada told the story of when his family was reunited.
Every Sunday and so on, they used to get a day off from the fields and things. So the parents took him to a Husay festival nearby in a neighboring estate. And when he got there, of course, there was very similar like today, tassa and lots of noise and so on. And above the noise, he could hear his mother screaming. And his father started to scream too. And he said he started to scream, and he don't know why he screamed, but they were screaming, so he had to scream as well. She had met 3 of her brothers, who she hadn't seen for about 20 years or more.
In commemoration of these resilient people who first graced our shores on May 30th, 1845, we celebrate Indian Arrival Day. This is We Focus for TTT News.